In a small town, there lived a boy named Rohan. He was intelligent, full of potential, and had big dreams. His greatest aspiration was to become a doctor, but he had one major obstacle: his lack of self-discipline. Rohan struggled to control his mind. His thoughts were scattered, and he found it difficult to focus. Every time he sat down to study, distractions took over: his phone, social media, or simply daydreaming. He often told himself, "I'll study later. There's still time." But that later never came. His parents and teachers warned him about the importance of focus and discipline, but he never took their advice seriously. He believed that intelligence alone would be enough to succeed. One day, his school announced the results of a scholarship exam. Rohan had taken the test with high hopes, dreaming of securing a scholarship. But when the results were released, his heart sank. He had failed. Meanwhile, his friends, who had studied with dedication, passed with flying colors. The teachers who once praised him now looked at him with disappointment. That evening, Rohan sat alone, ashamed, not because he wasn't smart, but because he knew, deep inside, that he had wasted his time. He reflected on all the hours he had spent being distracted. That's when it hit him. Intelligence alone wasn't enough. Without discipline, success was impossible. Determined to change, Rohan decided to seek guidance from someone who had mastered self-discipline. He had heard of a wise monk who lived on the outskirts of town. People said this monk had once been an ordinary man, but through sheer discipline, had transformed his life. The next morning, Rohan visited the monastery. He found the old monk meditating under a tree, his face radiating a deep sense of peace. Bowing respectfully, Rohan asked for guidance on disciplining his mind. The monk opened his eyes and smiled. "Ah, the restless mind. This is the greatest challenge of all. Let me tell you a story. The archer's lesson, the power of focus." Many years ago, in a great kingdom, there was a young man named Veer who dreamed of becoming the finest archer in the land. He was strong and talented, but his mind was scattered. Some days, he practiced diligently. Other days, he wasted time on distractions. One day, Veer approached a famous archery master and said, "I want to be the best. Please teach me." The master took him to a riverbank and handed him a bow and arrow. Pointing to a leaf floating on the water, he said, "Shoot that leaf." Veer aimed and released the arrow, but he missed. The master asked, "What did you see when you aimed?" Veer replied, "I saw the river, the trees, the sky, and the leaf." The master shook his head. "That is your problem. You see too many things at once." A true archer sees only his target, nothing else. Determined, Veer practiced for months, training his mind to focus only on the target. Eventually, when the master asked him again, Veer answered, "I see only the leaf." This time, when he released the arrow, it struck the target perfectly. The monk looked at Rohan and said, "Your mind is like Veer's. It is distracted by everything around you. If you want to succeed, you must train your mind to see only your goal." Rohan understood the lesson, but he was still unsure how to apply it. "Master, how do I train my mind?" he asked. The monk smiled and gave him 4 simple rules. Control your thoughts. Whenever your mind wanders, bring it back to the task at hand. Just like an archer, see only your goal. Create a routine. Discipline thrives on structure. Set a daily schedule and stick to it. Remove distractions. Identify what steals your focus, your phone, TV, unnecessary activities, and eliminate them while working. Be consistent. Mental discipline is not built in a day. It requires daily effort. Rohan took the monk's advice seriously. He created a strict study schedule. Whenever his mind wandered, he reminded himself of his goal. He stopped using social media while studying and even deleted unnecessary apps. At first, it was tough. His mind craved distractions, but he didn't give up. Day by day, his focus improved. He could study for hours without losing concentration. Months later, he sat for another important exam. This time, he was prepared. He didn't just pass, he secured the top rank. Rohan's success wasn't due to luck or intelligence alone. It was his discipline that made the difference. Years later, as he stood on stage receiving an award for academic excellence, he remembered the monk's words, "The mind is like a wild horse. If you don't control it, it'll take you wherever it wants. But if you train it, it will take you exactly where you want to go." From that day forward, Rohan lived by one principle: discipline your mind, and success will follow. Conclusion: the power of a focused mind. Many people, like Rohan, believe that intelligence alone will lead them to success. But the truth is, a brilliant mind without discipline is like an untamed horse. Success is not about working harder, it's about working smarter with focus and consistency. In today's world, distractions are everywhere, pulling us away from our true goals. But if we train our minds to resist these distractions and stay focused, we can achieve anything we set out to do. So, the next time you catch yourself losing focus, remember the monk's wisdom. See only your target and nothing else. What do you think? Have you struggled with distractions? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more lessons on discipline, focus, and the wisdom of the Buddha. See you in the next video.